The XFL has officially taken the sports world by storm, and it seems as if we finally have a sustainable, entertaining alternative to the NFL throughout the offseason. We actually have some fun football that we can watch on the weekends. Now, the XFL rosters are filled with ex-NFL players and players trying to impress and make their way back onto an NFL roster. And obviously, the talent pool in the NFL is a lot better than the talent pool in the XFL. But by the end of the season, you are going to find a few players that impress scouts and impress coaches across the board and do find their way onto an NFL roster. Maybe they didn't have the best chance before, but now given a chance to perform, they actually excel and show what type of player they could actually be. But that does actually bring up a pretty freaking interesting question. And that's, how would the best XFL player do in the NFL? And today, thanks to Mr. Bubbles and thanks to Madden Science, we will see what would happen if the best XFL player was in the NFL. Now, off the get-go, there's like two players right now that fans are arguing back and forth is the best player in the league. So to kind of avoid that, we're going to have both players as part of the experiment today. Number one, quarterback Phillip Walker, who I think would probably win the MVP at this point in time, and Cardale Jones, a former Ohio State great, now starting quarterback in the XFL. So both of those guys are going to take part in today's experiment. But how this is going to run, extremely simple. We've taken those two best XFL players and made them starting quarterback on an NFL roster. We're going to go 5 seasons throughout their career and see where their career takes them, so we can see how the best player in the XFL would do in the NFL. So I think this is super interesting, dudes. It's been a while since we've had the Madden scientific experiments on the channel. So if you're a fan of the science, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you are new and turn on the notification bell if you haven't, because if and only if we do hit 500k subscribers by the end of this month, we are going to be doing a $1,000 cash giveaway to one of you guys. We have like 2 weeks left, maybe like a week and a half left of February, and I think we're 4k away, so make sure to take that millisecond. I know it's take to click that subscription button because we're so freaking close, dudes. Let's see though if we can go for 5,000 likes on today's experiment. With that said, let's explain how this is going to work. It's extremely simple. First of all, the quarterback on the team that we're going to be using is Phillip Walker. Now you might be asking, how did I get Phillip Walker in Madden 20? Well, a lot of the players in the XFL were a part of Madden 20 and the start of the game. So if you like start up a Madden franchise right now, a lot of the players are free agents in the NFL in your franchise. Now Phillip Walker, to give you guys perspective on the talent difference, he's probably the best player in the league, would probably win MVP today through 2 weeks. He was a 56 overall. That's right, a freaking 56 overall in free agency, and he's now our starting quarterback. So the best player in the XFL, according to Madden 20, is a freaking 56 overall. And just because he's playing really good in the XFL, I was a little generous to him and added +2 to his overall. So for today's video, he is a 58 overall, and he's going to be our starting quarterback for the next 5 years. Now, Cardale Jones, on the flip side, is with the Cleveland Browns. He also comes in at a 58 overall. He was a 56 overall as well, but I did the same thing as I did with Phillip Walker to make them on par, boosted them up to a 58 overall to give them kind of like a morale boost since they've been playing pretty well in the XFL. But he's going to be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Now, I can't control what the Browns do. I'll try my best to make sure he's the starting quarterback for all 5 years. But since I'm not controlling the team, I can't really guarantee it, but I'll try my best. But simply all we're going to do today is sim 5 separate seasons, 5 years later into their career, and see how they do in the NFL. Now, one really interesting thing, too, I have is, as I did make Tom Brady a free agent, which he is going to be a free agent in real life. I'm interested to see. I'm going to go ahead and sim till week 2 of the preseason. I just want to see what team ends up picking up Tom Brady. Now, he did get signed, but what team actually signed Tom Brady? If it's the Browns, maybe Max. I don't think I have to trade for him. And it's the Bengals. Wow. Oh, wow. Phillip actually did it, dudes. Phillip led the New England Patriots to the playoffs. A wild card spot, but still, Phillip freaking Walker led the team to 10-6 season. He has 10 upgrades. He has 10 upgrades. I don't think, bros, I have ever freaking seen that. 10 goddamn upgrades? Are you kidding me? He must have had an insane season. And keep in mind, it was only a 58 overall. And all I did was freaking sim. So the Dolphins went 0-16. So how did the Browns do? The Browns went 12-4. Bro, the XFL players right now are balling out. I literally thought, because in simulations, quarterback is so important, I thought for sure the teams were going to do really bad because they're under 60 overall. But god dang, they both made the playoffs, one of the best record in the league. Hopefully the Browns didn't bench Cardale Jones. They did. I apologize. At least we'll be able to follow Phillip Walker. And yeah, they got Taysom Hill. Like, why? So it might be a little difficult to follow Cardale Jones as well, but my God, Phillip Walker, 4,200 yards. There's no way he won the MVP, right? Okay, I was about to say, Phillip Walker came in 4th. He came in 4th in the NFL MVP voting. That is mental. And he's almost a 70 overall. I don't think he had like normal development, didn't he? So I've never seen a player improve that much in one season. But like crazy enough, Mitch Trubisky won the MVP. Now looking at his statistics across the board, he had 4,200 yards, 33 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He ran the ball 3 touchdowns, 273 yards. I mean, Phillip Dorsett balled out. That's insane, dudes. Now I do want to see by chance, and hopefully Cardale Jones did actually get to play some this season. And Cardale Jones, he got benched. He had 5 pass attempts. How did they even get Taysom Hill? Like, how did that happen? So I converted Taysom Hill to tight end, and even Cardale Jones as the backup. Still did go up to a 60 overall, but I feel like I don't think we're going to make it that far. Can we at least beat the Bills? And we got demolished 34-16. But still, what a first season for Phillip Walker. It's the freaking buck of goddamn years in Buffalo Bills. And the winner of Super Bowl 54 is going to be the Bills. So I forgot to check how the Bengals did. They went 8-8, so not a bad effort from Tom Brady. Make sure really quick that Phillip's still our starting quarterback. Where did Phillip go? Bro, I don't want Nick Mullins. I want Phillip. Cardale Jones is a free agent once again. Phillip's a Titan? No, Phillip, we're getting you back. Bro, I tried to trade a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round draft pick for Phillip, and they declined that? Well, I guess this is what the Titans get for stealing my freaking quarterback. I'll for sure now trade for punter Phillip Walker. And one thing I have noticed throughout this process is that Phillip Walker somehow did get star development. I don't know if I don't think he had star development at first. So if he didn't, he had to have got it last season. So he's going to start to progress even more and more this year. Let's freaking go, Phillip. At the end of the preseason, he is now a 69 overall. Nice. Once again, dudes, Phillip did it. New England Patriots in a wild card spot, made the playoffs at 9-6-1. A little dip off from last year, but it's definitely not Phillip's doing. Now let's see if he has any upgrades at the end of the season. Phillip has 5 more upgrades. Are you serious? He is now going to be a 74 overall. This man is a monster. In 2 seasons, this guy is now up to a 74 overall. Went from like a 50, was it a 58? He technically started at a 56 or 55, but now he's like a 70 something? That is insane, dude. Phillip is a goddamn monster. We didn't win the division this season. Saints have the best record at 15-1. Worst record in the league this year ends up going to the Jets at 3-11-2. That's because they had to go up against Phillip all season long. Now, statistically, maybe Phillip found a way to win the MVP. No, goes to Pat Mahomes. Phillip, once again, though, in 5th place. God dang, he's going to win. In the next 3 seasons that we do for today's video, Phillip's going to find the way to win the MVP. A little different from last year, though. 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, a little bit more interceptions at 17. 71% completion percentage, that is pretty insane. Do we have a receiver now? I'm letting the CPU do all the offseason things. So he only has Mohamed Sanu and Julian Edelman. Maybe I specifically go in and try to sign a good wide receiver to give Phillip another target to throw to. But let's see if this is the year Phillip actually can make it to the Super Bowl. We have to get past the Steelers, and we do. 21-7. Any more upgrades? No more upgrades from Phillip, but our wide receivers get some upgrades. Now we have to take on the Bills. They ended our season last year. They end up winning the Super Bowl, and this time around we get another huge L. We can't get past the Bills. But you know what? Phillip now up to a 75 overall. Eventually, in these next 3 seasons, he's going to win the Super Bowl. Let's go, Mr. Bubbles. Oh man, finally my Titans in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 55. Make me happy. Win the Super Bowl. Come on, Titans. Couldn't do it this year. They lost. Of course they did. So start of season number 3. At the end of the preseason, I do want to see, does he have any more upgrades? Apparently, he's stuck at a 75 right now. But still, man, he started at a 58. The team has got a little worse. I don't even think we have that many good wide receivers. I think Julian Edelman retired, and so did Mohamed Sanu. We have N'Keal Harry, Emmanuel Sanders, and Jacoby Myers. I'm telling you, man, god dang, Phillip's a freaking wizard, dude. Although the team is getting worse around him, he once again makes the playoffs at 9-7. I'm expecting some more upgrades for him. He has 3 upgrades, so Phillip, by the end of this experiment, we do have 2 more seasons. He's for sure going to be in the 80s overall. As we do see, we actually won the division this year. We don't have to worry about the Bills. They lost like 10 games. Ravens have the best record in the league. Bengals up there, but I'm sure Tom Brady's gone now. Worst record in the league this time around goes to the Raiders and Broncos at 4-11-1. Is this the year that Phillip finally got it done to win the MVP? His production is going down a little bit, and Lamar Jackson wins it. That's, of course. Does he come in the top 10? Oh, no. His third season, Phillip does not come in the top 10 of the MVP race. But this offseason, if we don't win the Super Bowl, I'm still going to try and add some weapons around Phillip because we got to get him an MVP trophy. Yep, it definitely went down. 24 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, sub 4,000 yards. The reason being his receivers are just not that freaking good. Let's freaking see, man. Can Phillip finally win the Super Bowl? Gotta beat the 10-6 Browns in week number 1. And we freaking lost. Seahawks and Ravens, Super Bowl 56. So this will be back-to-back Super Bowls for the Seahawks. They get this dub. And they do back-to-back Super Bowls for the Seahawks. So we offered Michael Gallup, Dallas Goedert, Auden Tate, and Anthony Miller. We've got to get a few of these guys. And we give so many weapons to Phillip Walker. And he'll finally be able to win the Super Bowl. And even the MVP, hopefully. No, Gallup rejected. At least we did get Tate and Miller. That's 2 solid wide receivers and a good receiving threat at tight end. Bros, I think we actually got a first round bye. Finally, not in the wild card round. Phillip Walker, oh, I don't think we have any upgrades for Phillip, or do we? Phillip has 2 upgrades, so not a ton, but that does finally bring him to an 80 overall. What a freaking career with Phillip, man. From a 58 to an 80, and like this is the end of the 4th season. We have 1 more season to go after this. We ended up going 12-4 on the year, enough to get a first round bye, tied for the best record in the league, dudes. Worst record in the league this year ends up going to the Lions at 3-13. Maybe, just maybe, dudes, this was Phillip's year. His passing yards went up because we got some good wide receivers around them. Oh, Phillip came in 5th again. We have 1 more season to hopefully get him that MVP trophy. Jameis Winston was up there. Noah Phillip, my man. Now let's check out how Phillip did statistically. 34 touchdowns, 7 picks. It's the least amount of picks he's thrown in his entire career. I think that's a high, too, for passing yards in a season. How do you do running the football? 349 yards, 3 touchdowns as well. The receivers, well, actually, N'Keal Harry, he balled out. 1,100 yards, but the guys we signed, I mean, I'm sure they made some bit of an impact, but is this the season that Phillip finally wins that Super Bowl? In the divisional round, we're going to be taking on the Houston Texans. We have some more upgrades. Maybe Phillip. There's a couple of just defensive players. We have to beat the Texans at home. I mean, we won 2 more games than them in the regular season. I don't believe in Phillip. We have 1 more season to get it done. Well, the Texans make the Super Bowl. Let's see who wins Super Bowl 57. At least it would be the team that beat us once again. And no, the Vikings do. So I'm just messing around, signing some free agents, trying to make this team good. And I came across this guy, Terrell Beekman. No, dude, I had a feeling this was gonna happen. This was our 5th and final season, and it's the first time we don't make the playoffs. What happened, Phillip? We went 8-8. Wasn't enough to make it to the playoffs this final season. Phillip does upgrade to an 83 overall. So what an effort from him, though, man. From the XFL to leading the Patriots to 4 consecutive playoff berths. Never got it done, never won the Super Bowl, but still, man, from the XFL to this point. So final stats on his final season, he dipped down big time. I don't know what caused the big dip. And maybe he came in, no, man, did not come in the top 10 of the MVP race in his final season. What happened? 28 touchdowns, 10 picks. Definitely wasn't his worst year, just under 4,000 yards. We couldn't run the ball offensively. All our receivers sucked, although Anthony Miller got 12 touchdowns. It was a valiant effort, though. I mean, I don't know how trustworthy of a source Madden 20 is when trying to compare stuff like this, but according to Madden, Phillip would be pretty freaking good. Pretty goddamn good in the NFL. Maybe next year.